PAH, whatever you want to. We didn't still ask them what it stands for. Yeah, basically a mix with Cypher and Cotton X from Navi. But we've just seen Curse taking down Fnatic. Great game. Curse looking very strong.
They are. They're in the crowd. I can see a couple of them over there. So, yeah, they were looking very strong. And obviously that's, first game of the day is always a very dangerous game to play. And to be facing Fnatic as first game of the day, who've really come off the back of some absolutely astounding results, beating Moscow 5 just 2 days ago, or 3 days ago now. I'm losing days as I go to an event. And they've looked really good. They've had the switch out with Shushay at the top there with Soaz. But they did exactly that they do against CLG, where, they're kind of like one of CLG's bogey teams. And we heard Zinek say in the interview, even if we get those guys, I think we could beat them. We're pretty confident against CLG. And they just camped on that top lane. And, Extinct was picking up kill after kill after kill, just getting free kills. It's interesting to see how it's going to work out. But here we are. We're into the picks and bans. You can see Singed, Nautilus, and Ari being banned out by PAH and Morgana Urgot. So they're actually going with fairly generic standard bans. Singed is an interesting one. I'm not too sure on Millennium who the strong Singed player is, but obviously they're fearing that top lane.
Yeah, very targeted ban, isn't it, that one? Urgot, obviously, we saw him 100% of games banned or picked over at MLG, and he showed in that last game as well, I think, just exactly where Urgot's strength lies. Super tanky, obviously got ridiculous range once he gets that lock on in place. And we are going to go straight into the picks, and it looks like first pick is going to be Shen. Not really a surprise, we've seen it often. If Shen's not out there in the bans, then we see him picked up very early on, and Millennium going straight in there as well. No messing around in this one. Karthus and Maokai.
A good guy Cyanide in the background there chatting up a fan, I noticed.
Go on, son.
Go on, my son. So, yeah, Shen being picked up. So the double pick going to be coming out. See Karthus in there. We've sort of just seen some fantastic Karthus work. We've seen some pretty much Karthus throughout this tournament. Every time I went over to watch CLG, they were playing Karthus. He's just one of those steamroll champions. He can really get the feed on. Maokai also we've seen pretty much throughout this tournament. They've been predominant champions that have been picked up there. Now, I'm not sure which side this is. This is PAH. This is PAH we're looking at here, because that's Reckles just on the front of the camera, who did not have a very good game against CLG. It was a rough experience for him in that bottom lane, so we're going to see how he's going to work out. Wow. Obviously, remember, bearing in mind that the mixed team of PAH have actually got 2 junglers in their lineup, but as we know, junglers are the universal people in teams. They can play any lane they want. And we're going to see Anivia being picked up. Anivia was in the last game. Piqué didn't have the greatest of times with him, which actually surprised me, because I've seen him playing some pretty impressive stuff. I guess he's going to have to go see Frog and get some tips.
Yeah, and we've got Graves in there as well. Pretty one of the standard AD characters, especially when Urgot's not in there. You usually see Graves somewhere along the line. Again, at MLG, the guys over at Elo Buff calculated something like 80% of games Graves were either banned or picked. And he was very, very strong throughout that tournament, so we'll be seeing him feature heavily here at DreamHack as well. Let's have a look what Millennium are going to go for their 3rd and 4th picks. Of course, already Maokai for the jungle, Karthus there for the middle, unless they go with some funky setup, which would almost never surprise me. There is Vayne.
Wow. We've not seen Vayne for a long time, yeah. So the Vayne we've not seen as an AD carry for a long time, but Enton's work seems like he's happy with it, and he will lock it in as well. So it's going to be a Vayne Taric bottom lane. Interesting one straight away. Last time we saw Vayne in a proper competition, I think, would have been Seabit. I remember Doublelift playing Vayne quite a bit. Obviously, he was used predominantly throughout Kiev as well. I think he was used pretty heavily. Actually, it was a strong losing lane with Vayne and Janna, I believe it was. So
yeah, Janna Vayne was like the terrible lane.
That was the bad lane, yeah, it didn't work out well.
Yeah, but they've got that at least possible double stun if their positioning's right and they manage to knock him against a wall. You've got then Taric, so that's a lot of damage that can come out very quickly. Yorick actually in here, so assuming that Shen is going to be the choice for the jungle, actually, for PAH, although they've got 20 seconds, that may just change. There is Janna as well, which again was the strong pair in MLG with Graves. That Janna Graves lane, they were winning lots of games.
Yeah, indeed. Notice Herkybots changed his name today. He's obviously loving the Swedish talent that's around the arena. And you always feel when you come to Sweden, you've come into a slightly higher gene pool. It's
as English people, we are pretty ugly. That's for sure. So final pick for Millennium then. They've obviously got bottom lane sorted. And
has he got a Union Jack pillow? He has, hasn't he? I'm pretty sure that's a Union Jack pillow he's got right there.
Which is an interesting choice for a French team, because they don't usually go for that.
No, they seem to be deep in thought about the choices, what they're going to use as their final pick here. and it is going to be Warwick. By the looks of it, Warwick will get picked up there. So Warwick top lane versus Yorick. Okay, I can see what they're doing there. They need a bit of sustain. Someone that can keep up with Yorick, just keep in that lane. Bottom lane, I'm not too sure how that's going to work out. Janet Graves is a very strong lane against the Taric Vayne, but like you said, there's a lot of stuns there. We can see Shen, obviously, split lanes almost certainly going to be on for PAH here with Shen on that. I assume he's going to be in the jungle. But eventually he's definitely going to be split lane pushing. We've seen that so often with CLGNA. It used to be the hot shot sort of standard of that top lane. We've got, I wouldn't say it's boring to watch, but it's predictable. It is boring to watch, okay. But it's going to be in the jungle, so it could well be very different. But the difference with the Shen jungler is the fact that you can use that ulti and pop out on you anyway, and you have no idea where he is. It's like, oh, we're safe, Shen's top lane, the jungler's top lane. Oh no, now he's in the bottom lane. So he could just be jumping around all over the place. So what are we going to go with on this one, Joe? We've got a previous AD carry playing as the support player, which he has been playing for Cypher, which is Lune, or Launet, whichever you want to pronounce it. I never really asked him. I guess the French name, it could be Club Bleu.
I'm not sure how it could be that, but nice French skills, mate. That's good stuff. But we saw PAH in action last night in the semi-final. Against CLG, it was always going to be a tough game, actually.
Both teams had a tough game against CLG.
Didn't really look all that good, but this is a whole different kettle of fish. Millennium not been together all that long. They've had their fair share of switches here and there, but they've got some very strong players in there. Entonsberg, of course, one of the players that really sticks out in terms of his individual skill. So, I don't know. I fancy PAH. I like their lineup. That Janet Graves bottom lane is always a winner, if you ask me. Yeah,
and you got Shen in there, which is always a bonus. But, Karthus could be a hit or miss. If he starts to feed and starts to pick up the kills, just like we saw Extinct doing in the last game, he can really be very, very strong. So it's a possibility. I think Warwick against the top lane is going to be a very strong lane as well. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Who do you want to win? Is it going to be Millennium or PAH? Let's go with Millennium to start with. Okay, they got a little bit of support. It's not quite the Fnatic roar that they had earlier on. What about PAH, a.k.a. Cypher? Okay. So PAH seem to be the fan favorites, I think. I think that's the way that one works out. They have picked up Heartseeker Vayne. Everybody seems to play that these days. I can't understand why.
Yeah. No comment. But yeah, we're going to get straight into this one. The crowd seem to be with PAH for this first game. Let's not forget that it is group stage, so even if you end up losing this first game, you've still got a lot of time to come back into it. It is best of one in the group stage, and we will be running through all of Group A. I think then an hour break or so, and then we'll be moving into the other group as well. So lots of League of Legends action today.
Yeah, it's a long day, and it makes up for the open bracket yesterday, obviously. A lot of people on the Reddit threads, etc., were complaining. It's like, why are you not covering DreamHack? It's like, well, the tournament hasn't started yet, so it's kind of tricky to cover it, which I don't think a lot of people understood. They don't understand the fact that, the normal DreamHack summers do run from your Saturday through to Tuesday, effectively, which is a little different from most tournaments. The winter will be the same. Might have it invaded. Dax trying to get in there, trying to put that ward down. Could take the ward down before.
No.
How did they not get 3 hits on that ward?
I think they were sleeping. A little bit, not quite as quick as they would have hoped to be. And that invade not going to happen as of yet. We've got PAH just sat back over by their Wraith side, so looking like Shen will possibly start on that side. Of course, there's still 50 seconds until those buffs actually come up, so that may change here a little. Millennium camped with their bottom lane outside the blue Maokai up by the Wolves, so he's going to be starting out on that side of the jungle. And no real early, it's first game of the day for both of these teams, and first game in the group stage is always a tricky one. You want to get off to that good start. It's never good to get into a rut in the first game of the day.
Yeah, and they've had the nerves of having to sit and watch Fnatic versus Curse, so they know both teams realize they have to pick up a win in this one. It's going to be, I think it's probably going to be a very tense affair. It's not going to be like your EU and Nordic East we get with the crazy battles that we tend to have in those things here in the Go for LOL. I think it's going to be a very tense affair. There was a lot of kills actually in the last match. We were saying how fast-paced it was, but I don't think we might see the same in this one unless somebody really makes a mistake and gets caught out. Dax rocking out the Taric of the 5th age as well. I'm loving the pink skin. I was wondering why some of the players weren't using that the other day, but Entonsberg helping out Najik there. I'm going to so-call him Nanjim because of the Korean team. But Najik, I'd love to know if anyone knows the Type A Assassins versus World Elite score, by the way. I need to try and check that out because that happened this morning over in Garana as well, and that would have been a fantastic match to watch. But it's far too early for me and Joe.
not getting up extra early for that one, I'm afraid, today. So let's take a look then at the lanes and how they're all going to be facing off. Bottom lane, of course, Graves, Janna versus Vayne, Taric. Still a little bit undecided as to how this one is going to go, but we know that Graves, Janna, statistically, has been a very strong lane in recent times. You can see that Reckless One is going to come just the whole time. That buckshot combo with his quick draw is going to force a lot of health pots to be burned through early on by Vayne.
Yeah, definitely caught him out already, knocked him down to half health. It's a quick combo, but you know, across the board it's the boots and pots, the standard builds that everybody really starts with these days. It used to be people would start with Orange Blades, but it's just the lifesteal nerf sort of completely changed that, so I know everybody goes boots and pots. Reckless One obviously going to get that bonus with the Janna shield, so as soon as that Janna shield goes down, enters the work, knows he's in for a world of hurt, so he's trying to back away. And Lona is generally pretty quick on that one. Did miss on the bookshot there this time. Now we've got Shen on the top lane actually, sitting in the tri-bush, going to try and get towards Fios. Fios actually took that one step back. That might be the detriment of his health, and he does get the ignite down. They're going to try and dive it. It's a level 3 dive on the turret. He's going to try and kite them round. Will it be enough? Konex is going to take one more tower hit. Will get away, and first blood, very nicely done. Yorick picking that one up. And that was a good dive, but really ballsy at level 3, and we have a pause coming out here.
I should have brought my epic pause sign, because we may just need it in this tournament, I don't know. But again, we see in this top lane, no wards down from Warwick, not from either player actually, which you've just got to do. You've got to do it. There's no excuse, actually, for not having those.
And when you've got
down.
a Shen that can get your taunt on
exactly,
you,
you can move in very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And that's something that Warwick obviously took that one step out, and that possibly caused his death there. If he'd have not moved out there, it could have been a little bit different. As we saw on the player screens, they seem to be coming back into it. So once the delay catches up here in the next 30 seconds, we are going to get back into the game. So first blood going over to Yorick. That's going to cause a few problems for Warwick in the top. Yorick and Warwick. They're going to get mixed
Yorick
up.
and Warwick, yeah, it's a combo at the top lane, but they might struggle with the Americans. They might get the pronunciations wrong, but we all know that Warwick is pronounced that way. So we just got to make sure of that. I was born and grew up there. So here we go. We're going to have to see where is Maokai going. I can see him in the bottom lane, and Jig is just lingering, but of course he has passed those wards, and he's going to get spotted straight away. Look at Launat scaring him off there. that epic Janna really forcing him down lane. He's continuing to chase. That's pretty ballsy play. Arkagod, well, he's going to be picking up the raid, so he's going to take him away. Obviously realized that Maokai is well away, so he's immediately taxing them out. Enton's worker really is taking a lot of damage. Amazed that Bookshot managed to sneak through there. Dax looked like he blocked it very nicely, but managed to catch him. Reckless One really doing, making up for what happened yesterday. He did not have a fun lane experience against the bottom lane of CLG. Yellow Pete really was dominating yesterday, but at the moment, he seems to be doing a fantastic job against Vayne.
Yeah, and I can really expect that to continue. Yeah, as you said, yesterday wasn't his best day ever, but you can see that buckshot. It's like one auto attack in the buckshot, and Vayne has to back away from things. Actually, stun goes down there onto Reckles, and we've got this gang coming into middle. Arkagod going very, very low. Forced to use a flash, but the ignite is in as well, and Cortenex is going to make it 2-0 for PAH. And again, the Shen just showing he can make that ground very quickly, and it's hard. The junglers are meeting. Yeah, this is bad news.
Yeah, Konex going straight in towards Maokai there. I don't think either of them want that fight, actually. They do back away. Meanwhile, I can see Warwick as well, just having a little swipe on the top there, but Konex is taking another tax. I don't think he's going to be happy with that. Yeah, he is going to steal away the main Wraith, which is the 35 gold. That's the advantage they get there, so they really are camping the Wraiths out. Remember, they'd already taken it, I think, Karthus took it away from him, so really at the moment Maokai is going to be hurting in the jungle. He was lingering a little too long down the bottom, trying to get that gank down the bottom. It didn't work out for them, so at the moment Nanjek is going to be hurting for gold. So he's going to have to try and start going for those ganks, but again you can see Shen positioned at the top there, but I think Fios is looking like he's probably teleporting back. Now he's going to stick around, which might mean Shen's going to cancel that. Oh, he's going to back. Actually, Karthus was heading up. I think he's just purely ward placing though, so we'll back off. Vayne is also going to be free lane down that bottom. Let's have a look at the CS compared to the two, 35 to 22. So Vayne really will be struggling. It's more about the range. He just doesn't simply have the range to compete with Graves, which is why Graves effectively worldwide has been the big pick. We've seen all the Asian teams, the Korean teams, they all pick up Graves. Everybody uses him, obviously the NA teams as well. Doublelift has been playing a fantastic Graves lately. Yeah,
and that's where his strength really lies. He's come back into this lane. Actually, he's going to have double Doran's blade at the moment. Fios just trying to bait Hercule off there. We do obviously have Maokai in that top side of the brush, but I'm not sure that Hercule's going to really overextend himself in this lane. He's got a big set of minions actually pushed up onto him as well. And actually, Fios is going to get in there. We will see the move in flash away from Hercule. That's going to get him onto the safety of his tower. And we'll say, thank you very much. You're not going to get me today.
Yeah, very nicely defended there. Konex has actually been caught out of position here, but I think actually Millennium are a little bit lower on the health there. Fios is chose to go down the river, tries to use the slow there. He does manage to get on, but Yorik's going to take him down. Fios, he's not going to get out of this one alive. He's surely going to go down. Question is, who will pick up the kill? He's just trying to back away. He wants to get a swipe. A bit of life still, but Hercubot will pick up the kill. And that is 3-0 now. They have that 2k gold lead. Pushing on towards Entonsberger down the bottom. He's just going to back away. Dax is going to take a couple of shots in the back there from Launa as well, actually, slowing him down. And we can see Shen again positioned. Is he going to go for Karthus in the middle here? Konex is just lingering. You know, proving why he's a fantastic Navi player. And I was a little bit disappointed that Navi didn't actually attend this one in full because they did a fantastic job in the qualifying and they played very well online lately. But they obviously felt they didn't want to fully attend this as a team. Obviously, Navi, world renowned for a Dota team, I guess, which I guess is in attendance. But as it is, Karthus is being pushed down that river. He wants to pick up the blue, but he's going to have to take it himself because his jungler's at the top.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether he's going to stick around from that. He saw Shen coming in there. Moops actually started to work his way down with Anivia as well, and Archigod said, well, I'm going to have to take a long way around from this one, missing out on a bit of CS, but will obviously get back in there. We almost saw a kill down at bottom for Reckles as well. You know, double Doran's blade that he's up against at the moment. Actually, he's got a double Doran's blade himself, but he's nicely ahead in terms of the creep score as well. And obviously 10.4 to 8,000 gold. After 8 minutes, that's a big lead already for PAH in this early game.
So Reckles having a much better time of it. Nanjik finally has got down there, so Karthus is going to go around. But that means, you know, that shows maybe the timing difference. PAH weren't quite feeling so aggressive. They could have probably gone for a blue steal there. Once as soon as they realized that Maokai was at the top, they could have thought maybe we'll go for this steal. You can see the top lane just sort of beaten back and forth. Not really a great deal going on between those two. Down the bottom here, Entonsberger was going to take a bit of damage there. You can see Konex actually walking straight through a tri-bush ward, so he's going to get spotted out. But Fios is really losing out this exchange in this top lane. This is just a straight flat 1v1, and the Hercubot really is dominating. Not too sure where the camera's going, but we're going to go back to Fios in a moment. There it is. Come on, Garen, wake up.
He's jet lagged, bless him. He'll get there. So down at bottom, Entonsberg has actually started to get that little bit stronger now. We all know that Vayne does get stronger as the game's going to go on. And actually, the longer that he manages to keep up in the CS and doesn't die is only going to be a bonus for this bottom lane. There's Fios again taking constant harassment from Yorick, who actually now does have Philostone plus a Heart of Gold built up as well. And Fios just having to try and lifesteal that all back to stay healthy in this top lane. Maokai is going to come across as well, but we've seen that
bot lane
Hercule is just not really going in there. Down at bottom lane, we do have a bit of action going on. Actually, it's not as much as the minimap wanted to try and tell us there. And in comes Maokai. They're actually going to flash in Warwick ulti as well, but you can see how strong he actually is. The tower's actually going to come down onto Fios. There is the Shen as well, and that's why this is so dangerous, this game, for Millennium. They can't just move in for 2 versus 1 like that. And here is Cottonex. Najik is actually really struggling with this one. Fios is there as well. Cottonex, though, can he 2v1 under a tower? Probably not. Obviously up at level 6, but he may just stick around and cause a few problems.
I think he could have possibly gone for him there. I think he could have got them, but he just forced them both to back off. He was actually in the tri-bush just below, but below Yorick, so he could have gone in and just walked straight up there, but he had to ulti his way into there because he just realized that Yorick was taking too much burst damage quickly. Instead has to back off there, but immediately they're going to try and tax it and take the red buff away. They realize they've forced them both away from lane. You can see Shen trying to pull out. Konex will take it down. Archigod realizes this has happened. He's going to try and pull a couple of ways to get the steal, but Konex will pick that up. Very nicely played there. Moops coming around. Moops could just use that wall and just back him away there. Pop throws out the stun, but didn't manage to catch it in the right place. Well, again, trying to put a little bit of damage on Archigod, just catches him with that ulti and doubles up the damage. Meanwhile, Entonsberger, let's have a look. How's he going between these two? Because we didn't really keep our eye on this one. You can see that double Doran's blade, actually, Zeal looks like he's being built up first by Reckles this time instead. So he's not really going for the damage, going more for the attack speed. Meanwhile, double Doran's on Vayne. Vayne's just going to have to farm it up. But Vayne will get stronger as the game goes on. He will become a hyper carry. You know, the fact that they have got the Vayne and the Karthus, they're both effectively hyper carries if the game gets to that late stage. But the question is, can they survive that long? 3-0, we're seeing Koenig going to be diving on towards Fios at the top there. Fios trying to use his ulti on towards Koenig. Very nicely done. Najik's going to come in. He's going to try and get the knock and puts his ulti down. Is it going to be enough? The Karthus ulti coming out. Koenig is going to take a bit of damage here, but Fios is going to force to back away. Meanwhile, down the bottom, Ensign's worker is going to get taken down. Fios now getting dived on with the ulti there of Hercubot. I don't think it's quite going to be enough on towards Fios though, but they will back away. Meanwhile, Taric also taken down by Anivia in that bottom lane. So kills going on across the map. Very nicely played here. And well, 5-0 again. Well, PAH just coming out on top.
Yeah, very, very strong up till now. That's going to leave Anivia 1-0-2, Yorick 2-0-0, Shen 1-0-2, and Graves 1-0-1. So these kills been nicely distributed across the board. Obviously, Warwick died twice, Vayne died once, Karthus died once, Taric died once. And PAH, you know, they're not making mistakes right now. Obviously, in this top lane, we've seen Cornex moving in time after time after time, trying to push that advantage onto Warwick, who's been struggling against Yorick in that top side. In terms of CS, in the middle, 104 to 99, so slight lead, but it is really only a slight lead for Anivia. Graves 97 to the 68 of Vayne, which is going to be a little bit painful for Vayne later on. Graves has come back now with that Zeal on top of the double Dorans and the Berserker Greaves. And top lane actually 65 to 57. So despite dying twice and having what has been a real tough time in this early game, Warwick managing to stay somewhat close when it comes to CS.
Yeah, keeping themselves in it. Reckles returns to that lane. There's a lot of GP10 items actually used across the board here. I noticed that Yorick was stacking it up early. Reckles doing a nice job at holding his lane there. Doesn't want to push it too heavily, although it has been pushed against him, missing the CS as well there. I noticed just on the one. We did notice Nathia doing that earlier. We were quite surprised. We were like, he just missed that and that and that. And Dwayne's freaking pointed out. Konex has come back down though, has picked up that Oracle. So he's going to be on the hunt, trying to clear out their Dragon. We haven't seen any Dragon attempts yet. 13 minutes in, it was 6.5 minute Dragon, the Fnatic Curse game. So it was a very early one. Konex is just going to linger around there, taking a look, going to go pick up the red buff. Meanwhile, Hercubot is going to keep Feox in there. Feox will be a bit stronger now. You know, until you get to level 6 on Warwick, he's going to start struggling against Hercubot. Hercubot now actually using a lot of mana, pumping it on towards Feox. Feox is quite happily to tank that up, just work his way through it. See, he has got Hungering Strike up. Is he going to go for an ulti on that top lane? He's just going to continue just fighting off. Oh, that stun's going to land nicely on Aki. Got that. Oops. Actually doesn't follow it up. Will he be going straight for it? He's caught straight in the middle of the lane, wasting Defile. He really doesn't have the damage for this one. You can see Konex using the coming out behind him there, just about saving his bacon as well, because I think if it had waited for Maokai there, that could have definitely been a kill. Meanwhile, the top lane continuing to just press, but they are going to push for a dragon here, Joe. Don't think Millennium can do a great deal about this.
Yeah, that was a great move from PAH. You know, put as much pressure as they can onto middle, take him low, force him to go back, and then say thank you very much. That means you're at least one man down now when it comes to this next dragon, and they just can't contest it right now. That's going to further increase this gold lead, almost 20,000 to 15,000. So, you know, it's well, sat on exactly 5,000 difference at this point. Fios has managed to, as you said, get a little bit stronger. Yorick. Gonna have a couple of problems with him now, but these ganks from Maokai have just not really been there, to be quite honest with you. They needed a little bit more. Lune's in trouble here, if you ask me. He's gonna use them on soon. We've got Cornex coming in as well. Entonsberg does have the Ignite running on him as well. Cornex will flash over, and there will be the kill. Taric, you're not really gonna do much there, but manages to force them away anyway. That will be 6-0. And a big lead for PAH.
Yeah, Karthus about to come down, but I don't think he's going to quite catch on towards Konex there. Konex getting around it. He was just lingering in the blue, and I think Karthus could have possibly picked up some kills there, but didn't want to get involved. You know, he had got his ulti still available as well. Meanwhile, you can see Maokai heading back towards the top. Hercubot no mana at the moment, so he's starting to struggle on this top lane, I think. He is just going to back away. He's actually going to go face check on that ward down, catches a glimpse straight away. The ping goes down. Actually, they realize the ward was placed there. And actually, Maokai getting caught out a little bit by Anivia there, just getting poked, keeping track of him. So Janna going back, well, very aggressive play by Lana. I think what he was trying to do was trying to get the other side of him to use that Monsoon to just push him out, but I didn't quite get near it. Didn't quite get close enough. Blue buff will be picked up. That's going to go across towards Anivia. And yes, the blue buff for Millennium was actually somewhat delayed, so I don't really know the timing on that one. And Moops will pick that up in the mid. You can see the Wraith's actually being taxed away by Karthus as well. What is I can see the pings going down on Baron. I don't believe it. I don't think... Now, Fios is backed away, but I really don't think they're going to go towards that way. It would have only just spawned. Hookiebot is going to go back. Was waiting for Mana, and then he's going to get the cover off from Shen. So, Joe, at the moment, it is looking very good for PAH. They have pretty much dominated the lane phase.
Yeah, they have, and Shen has been very often in these lanes. And you can see that with CS. He's fairly far behind Maokai, actually. Almost 50% actually behind him. But we've not seen Maokai being as effective as he probably needs to be. At the moment, he could be in a bit of trouble as well. Doesn't actually have Smite up. Cottonex, though, decides to go on the bot side. That could have been a nice steal of that buff. His Smite wasn't actually up either, though, so maybe that's the reason that he didn't even bother to check it. Middle lane is being pushed by Moops, who's got that tower down to around about a quarter of its HP, and with that Siege minion there as well, a lot of damage being done, and it looks like we may see a little bit of action up towards this top lane. Karthus did start to work up there. Moops has gone around to steal the Wraiths as well. Maokai is saying, actually, I'm going to stay. And we could see this one all kick off. Warwick there in the tri-bush. Cottonex is starting to come around. He's going to move in there. Feox is going to make that health back up, but we are seeing a Nivea moving as well. Stun will land onto Nagic. There's the ulti kill from Moops, and now they're going to focus in onto Warwick as well. A brilliant wall will keep him in. Fail flash as well, and there is the kill for Cottonex, and Archagod should run the hell away because Yorick and Shen will dive you at the tower.
Yeah, meanwhile, the bottom tower also going down. Oh, he's going to get dived on Ensign's Work. Has to use his knockback on Records there. Might just have saved his life there. The bottom tower will get pushed. Meanwhile, the top jungle is just completely being invaded. Red buff, I think, was gone. I can see them actually lingering around there. I think they're just backing away. Meanwhile, Ensign's Work is going to dive on. The exhaust goes down. Smoke also dropped there. Dax is trying to do as much as he can. Now you can see Cottonex ulting in there. Records there, managing to pick up with the ulti on him. Dax may well go down the tower as well. Konex is tanking up. Monsoon Hughes blasts him into the wall. He will go down as well. Konex is going to be close.
No!
The ulti didn't quite get enough though, and the Oracle is saved again. And wow, 3-0-5 for Konex at the moment. This is all going PAH way. 10-0, 18 minutes in. Just perfect timing by all of those ultis and heals.
I thought you were going to say it's going pear-shaped for Millennium, which is also a true statement. 10-0, 10,000 gold lead almost. And this is one of those situations where Millennium need to hope for a small miracle to actually come into this game for them to turn it around. However, we've seen
bigger throws.
We've seen bigger throws in the past, but at the moment, PAH are looking absolutely brilliant in this game. Let's have a quick look over the CS and see how everything's going on that front. 180 for Anivia to the 158, so PAH ahead in that lane. For Graves, who, by the way, is now 3-0-2 with a Bloodthirster, Double Door, Berserk Reeves, and the Zeal, with 157 CS to 111 from Vade. We talked about it here, I'll forget that because Archagod's in trouble. Did get stuck behind the wall there. Do they have the damage to finish off? Actually, flash in from Yorick, flash away from Karthus. They turn around onto Entonsberg. Can he get away? Cottonex is coming in around the side as well. Heal there from Tarek. They need to get the stun down, which they do onto Cottonex. Can they finish off Entonsberg though? It looks like they probably can't. And Millennium even tried to turn things around, I think realizing that there will be backup coming across that side as well. And they have to force themselves, get back into their base, stay safe from that. But it just looks like a bit of a one-way street, this. Can't see PAH losing fights at this point even.
Yeah, they've got good control, good crowd control. Koenig's is doing a fantastic job. He's been really getting in the faces, causing problems. Moops has been landing the stuns and the walls really when it counts. And it all started from Archagod simply getting caught out.
Yeah.
And he backed away. He was well out of the way before Vane suddenly got involved. Entonsberger just about surviving. Entonsberger has not had a good tournament though so far. The 2 games we've cast him on, he's not got a kill yet or an assist, which is not nice for him. He is 0-3 in this one. I do assure you, he is a very top player. He's to hold that #1 ranking in EU West.
Yep.
You know, I don't think anyone's going to take that from Frelenthor for a while. That boy just plays a lot of LoL. But the stun coming off, managed to land all 4 members of Millennium there. They continue on the tower there. You can see Hercubot coming around. They do save that turret, so no turret so far. 3-0 in the turret saves. Meanwhile, Records was happily stealing away the blue buff and leaves that one little lizard to give him a surprise. As soon as they come around, then they're going to say, okay, let's pick up the blue. Oh, wait, it's gone.
Yeah, bad news if it wasn't already bad enough for Millennium. Although they are managing to gain a bit more vision on the map. This Oracle from Nigic has paid its dividends so far, really clearing out a lot. They've got 3 wards down on the Dragon side of the river as well. We can see Cottonex doing what Shen does best, which is just pushing. If he gets in trouble, you can always ulti away. And actually on the invade here, we'll see Fios as he drops that ward right on top of his head. So Cottonex knows what he's up against in this top lane as he tries to push it through. 3 men from Millennium will be trying to push the mid lane out, but still not a single turret taken. See PAH now doing Dragon, and to be honest with you, Millennium, despite having those 3 wards on the bottom side, they were just nowhere near it.
Absolutely nowhere near it. Didn't have the timing, didn't know where it was happening. Cottonex just keeping them occupied on the top lane. Looks like they're going to go down towards the bottom and try and push that bottom lane out. They might be getting towards that turret. You see Janna actually tanking it up at the moment, and Lionet's going to come around there. But Shen, again, as we mentioned, doing that split push thing, just continuing on. But the problem is, because he picked up those kills and assists early on, 305, he's already tanky enough to quite happily do it on his own, whereas sometimes the jungler can't quite do that. And again, they've just completely distracted them so much with that split push that they're going to sneak in and pick up this turret quite happily. You can see Moops hanging on the top there. Did he land that stun? I'm not too sure. He does manage to come around there. Yorick managed to get his rules out onto Taric, but he will push him back. The ping goes down on that top lane, so you need to be dealing with a stack. But again, Red Bull's been stolen away by Shen as well in the jungle. He get picked up quite happily, and they're doing what teams should do when they're in the situation. They are just taking control of all the enemy jungle, just really forcing them down, just lacking their experience, their gold, every sort of income that they could get. And 12k gold just says everything for them. But as we mentioned, we have seen bigger throws in. It could come down to a Baron fight. I think some of the teams have just got experienced enough to realize when we have this advantage, don't go for Baron. Just let the other team try and force for it. Just unless you've got a clear chance, there's no point risking it. And I think that's what PAH are going to do. And
if you look down the items as well, you can see from that just how far behind they are. Graves, Phantom Dancer, Bloodthirster, and you look over at Vayne, he's got a Zeal. And you know, a couple of Doran's blades, which obviously doesn't match up whatsoever. Also with the AP carriers as well, you've got Karthus who's got that Rod of Ages for Sorceress who's finished, but Anivia had that Rod of Ages for what seems like half an hour by now. Chalice and a needlessly large rod as well there, with Vayne just tumbling away from the wall. Could have been a dangerous situation, but Millennium are forced to defend with pretty much their entire team in this middle lane. And to be quite honest with you, PAH, they're just splitting off in every single lane and pushing, and that's all they need to do at this point, actually.
Yeah, Warwick trying to head off Shen, but I'm not too sure he can do it anymore. I don't think he can deal with it. Despite the fact he was the top lane, he has got that level advantage, but Warwick at the moment, he's just got the Glacial Shroud. He's very tanky, but he's got not a lot of damage output. And this turret is going down very quickly. Graves has just ripped that one apart. Absolutely deal with it. Meanwhile, you can see Shen and Warwick actually having a little bit of engagement, but it's all about this one here. Moops might get caught out. You can see the Defile going straight across everyone. Will he catch the laywaste on him? Moops is taken down very low. Archangel does get dropped. Moops will get egged. Actually within laywaste range. You can see the ulti coming out. Requiem will not be enough to finish him off there. Now they're going to push on towards Dax. They're going to try and get him before the tower. They need to be careful they don't dive a little bit too deep. Dax will go down to Hercubon. Reckless actually trying to get the fountain kill there. Not quite working out because he feels actually going very well against Cottonex there. Cottonex forced away. The inhibitor will go down. They're going to continue pushing. They could take down the Nexus turret here. I think this one goes down very quickly. If Reckless does get on it, it will be. That's one Nexus turret. Will they go for them both? They've got 12 seconds before the spawns are up. Warwick finally gets around there, so Fios comes around. The stun lands on him. Hercubot will take it, and the surrender vote comes out. 13-0, 6-0 in turrets. A very strong performance from PAH, and that's got to make up for their feeling of loss they had against CLG.
Looked almost too easy there, actually, for PAH. Not really skipping a beat. 13 for 0, 205 on Nivea, 404 on Graves, 305 on Shen, 402 on Yorick. Just across the board. Perfect play, actually. There wasn't a mistake you can really call out. Shen did his Shen thing. It was in the lanes constantly. For me, Maokai needed to make a bigger difference in this game. They knew that Shen was going to be present in the lanes a lot, and Maokai had to counter that. And we saw him, I think, 2 or 3 times in the top lane in the brush, but never really got that much of a chance to get involved. You know, Yorick just walked away when they did try that 2-on-1 gank in the top lane. Shen just ulted in and turned it around and almost killed both of them.
That's it, and then that gank in the top of the tri-bush at level 3, I think it was level 3 or 4, yeah. They tower dived it, so they had it under control. So it's going to be Curse versus PAH next, which is basically the 2 winners so far. Yeah. So, you know, this actually could set up who is really going to top the group. Curse looked fantastic against Fnatic, PAH looked fantastic against Millennium, and obviously Millennium Fnatic will be following that run. So there's a lot of games still coming up, ladies and gentlemen. They will be running all back to back to back. We're not going to be even doing the last 2 group stages together. I think they are going to continue back to back, which doesn't really bode well in rules, in my opinion.
In Group A, it's fine. I think in Group B, they really need to play those last 2 games at the same time, just so, because what happens is teams can change their result, let's call it, depending on who they want to face when it comes to the semi-final. I don't know if we really touched on that, but we've got 2 groups of 4. Top 2 teams from each group will go directly through to a best of 3 semi-finals, and then we'll play both those semi-finals in the final tomorrow, actually. So today, constant group stages. As Demon said, Curse versus PAH, then Millennium versus Fnatic, then Curse versus Millennium, and the final group game of Group A will be PAH versus Fnatic. So, PAH, what can we say?
There's a lot of LOL.
Really good.
There's a lot of LOL
There's
today.
a lot of League of Legends.
A lot of League of Legends today.
So
it's going to be
sure
going on till the wee hours of the morning, I feel. This could well be a long day for you and me. I'm not too sure whether my voice is going to hold up. You may have noticed it's already a little bit croaky. I've kind of got...
was dying when I went to bed last night.
I've kind of got germs, which is not good. So we'll see how that holds up later on in the day, Joe. But I believe we hopefully we'll have an interview. I'm just trying to see whether I can see Freak or Rivington across there. I can't see the cameraman. The cameraman, you guys know where the camera is because you guys have been trolling it and walking past it and doing the elevator and all sorts of things.
That's really funny, guys.
Yeah.
Good job with that one. Everyone at home was just jealous that they weren't here, I think.
Yeah, that's it.
Which is part of the problem from that one as well. But yeah, we will be bringing you all-day action here from DreamHack Summer 2012. Constant League of Legends. Actually, Curse has just invited us to a game, so I guess they're getting ready to start off that one. No messing around. Let's just drop into the spectate slot. But obviously, Rivington and Freak will be coming up here to do the next game, rotating around, I think is the order of today.
Indeed.
Just try and save voices and stuff.
Try and preserve ourselves. So I think we're going to go take a well-earned break. We'll be back next time. It will be Curse versus PAH coming up within... Well, we haven't got a time on the screen, so coming up within... I think it's every hour, so it's actually 12 o'clock, so it should be now.
So 2 minutes ago, we started.
They're already in the game, so they're already hosting it. They're already ready. So don't go in there, guys. Run, get a drink, go to the loo, do whatever you do. Just come back in about 5 minutes' time.
Hey there, David Freak Turley here at DreamHack Summer 2012, and I'm joined with Navi Cotton X, who's just been playing for PAH and just won their first game against Millennium. So break it down. How did that game go?
Like, it went very well for us. Like, we took the first blood and we just prolonged from there, pretty much. So we basically took control of the game like quite early, and just worked out for us.
Cool. So you played Shen in that game. Why pick Shen in that match?
We felt like the global presence would be the best, and a strong ganker as well as a lot of utility would help the team, along with like Yorick and like strong laners.
Cool. So your strategy was to kind of come out early and gank a lot to pull the other lanes ahead?
Oh yeah, and then like pull the advantage even further to split push and stuff.
Cool. So after you built that early advantage, what made you say, let's go offensive, let's start pushing down turrets? When do you sort of decide to start pushing ahead with the game?
I think like it happened like after we took the dragon, we felt pretty confident to like go on and push our advantage even more. And like that's why we kind of grouped up and just ended the game pretty much from there.
Cool. Were there any picks in that game that surprised you that kind of came out of nowhere that were just kind of unusual picks?
Yeah, actually we kind of wanted Karthus and they just picked him apparently, and we didn't like think they would do it, so that was pretty surprising.
Cool. We've seen Anivia against Karthus twice now. Is Anivia a good counter lane, or do you just like running that champion?
I think she's like pretty decent pick since you can wall like Karthus out when you try to go in and stuff, as well as high burst damage, and like Anivia can build tanky, so that fits like a lot of team comps and stuff.
Cool. So what about that bottom lane? You had Graves Janna against Vayne Taric. I was actually sitting there watching the game with Fnatic, and they were really confused by the Vayne Taric pick. Did that bottom lane look weak to you from Millennium?
I'm not really sure. I didn't check so much on the bot lane, but I think like it worked pretty fine. Like I think Graves and Janna is like an awesome combination together, and it just worked out.
Cool. So when you're playing jungle Shen, and you want to go for that early pressure, who do you try to help the most? What lane or what champions do you try to help the most?
In this case, like it was the easiest one to gank was obviously Warwick, since it's like really easy to gank top lane. But I guess like with Shen you can pretty much gank like mid and top lane all along. Like it's very easy. It depends a bit like on like what lane mates you have and like how you can synergize.
Okay, great. So the final question then. Who would be like the best teammates for Shen? If you're coming in and grabbing Shen, and a teammate sees that they've got a Shen, on their team, who should they grab to make sure that he ganks really well and wins the game?
I would say Karthus and Shen are like amazing together. Like they just control the game flow so well.
All right, Greg, thanks very much. And of course, we're going to have more games coming up today, so stay tuned for the 2 days of League of Legends action. Hi, Riv. Rivington, come on up. What do you want to say? But we're still on stream. Come talk to me, Riv. Rivington, so did you watch any of that last game?
I did. Actually, I didn't. I was doing an interview.
Okay, so basically we had, I forgot the name actually.
I did see that they, what was it, like 8 minutes into the game, PAH was 6-0 on Millennium. They had a lot of good counter ganks coming in as well. That bottom lane was being quite tortured. Like, what else happened in that game as it went on? Because I did have to do that interview.
So basically, Cotton X, he was talking about how he picked early Shen and just kind of went for a lot of early pressure, a lot of ganks. He actually targeted Warwick because Warwick, he doesn't have great escape tools in lane. And so he's like, yeah, the first blood was actually Shen plus Yorick coming in, destroying that Warwick. They got those 8 kills. And he just kind of like showed up, and every time he ganked, someone died.
Yeah, I heard the Shen in the jungle was like, I'm so far ahead. He just kept saying it. He grabbed that gold pretend, then went for the next ruby crystal, and I looked at the other inventory, and it was like boots and pots for their jungler, and I'm like, wow, he is really far ahead. And then that top lane, Yorick, as you were saying, just wasn't getting any damage dealt from Warwick. He'd hit him for about 100 HP. Yorick just goes in, and he would take him down to half health with that first reel of spells. And so that, yeah, real tough lane there. And then they focused down on Warwick because knowing after that level 6, he's going to be a very big suppression, going to be able to lock that one person down, which is a huge advantage. So for them to focus that top lane, from what I saw, was really smart. And obviously they came out with that win.
Yeah, it was really great play by them. Of course, they tried to go for a sort of global strategy. We said, oh, they grabbed Karthus from me, and we wanted to grab Karthus and just kind of gank everywhere all the time. We saw that the first game with Curse versus Fnatic, where they kind of got dropped down. The Karthus ults picked up so many kills. He assisted in all the ganks. So, you saw.
What do you think of that, though? Because we see Karthus sometimes, you play Zombie Karth and it's not effective. You play it sometimes and it's 200% effective. Is it worth the ban?
Well, I guess it depends on the team, right? We've seen him now be very common at MLG. We saw him very common here. You know, I was talking with Fnatic again, you know, what they were watching the stream of the game, and they're like, I don't know why we're banning Ahri. I don't know why we're doing some of these bans here. It seems that Karthus, you know, he's being very, very common. A lot of teams are playing him. He's being played effectively. And you know, Lamy was saying that, you know, when you start winning, you get a Karthus, and Karthus just snowballs you ahead. It gets so much easier to win when you have a Karthus and you're already winning. And he said, even if you're behind, you know, Karthus still does good damage. You can still wave clear. You know, if you get that one good gank, his ultimate still helps. Karthus is having a lot of impact, and I think these players and these teams need to say, well, look, he's got a very big impact on the game. If we're not going to grab him early, we're going to be very afraid of this guy throughout the rest of the game. So, you know, it's a top 3 pick, or maybe you ban it if you don't want it.
So it's different because you see Ahri not having that global aspect that Karthus does. So most of the teams this weekend are running very tanky front lines. You have Nautilus, you have Leona, you have Shen in there a lot. So why not leave that Karthus or ban that Karthus out, since he can just lay waste past that wall, past that tanky line, and get that Ahri in there. Charm somebody out. You can actually do the damage to them. So, you know, it's either way. To ban out that Ahri, leave in that Ahri, she's going to be able to do more damage and dive past that tanky line instead of stay on the outside. So really both of those are good bans, but I think the Karthus should be in there.
Yeah, the Ahri is interesting because she does similar things at that level 7 mark, where Ahri can wave clear and then get out of lane. Of course, Karthus is, well, I'll sit in lane and I'll ult, and then we'll get some kills and I'll help the fights. Ahri has very good wave clearing with Orbit Deception, and then, yeah, she can run down, pop the ultimate, you know, again, crowd control. She does bring more to her ganks than Karthus, right? You know, Karthus can come down and wall, but it's whatever. But Ahri will chase you down, you know, has the ultimate, has the Spirit Rush, charms you up, does more damage ultimately in a gank, and then can get back to lane and not really miss out on gold or XP. So yes, she's definitely very dominant for us. She's very good at snowballing a game at, you know, the 7-minute mark or so. And so, you know, these teams are respecting a very strong champion, of course. But yeah, you're seeing Karthus clean up fights better than Ahri does. Whereas Karthus says, you know, yeah, you'll kill me and I'll wipe everyone down anyway. Ahri says, well, you won't kill me because I'll just dash around. It's really no big deal. But yeah, you know, Karthus seems to have a lot better impact right now. So I kind of agree with you, yeah.
And, you know, adversely as well, we see that they have these tanky lineups. Why not leave somebody like Ahri in? Let her charm that frontline Maokai. Let her charm that frontline Nautilus. You know, it's not really going to help her out too much. So sometimes they may be able to work that in their advantage, where you use that charm cooldown on somebody that doesn't necessarily need to get it. You're going to be able to take that fight away, or at least push Ahri out, since that major initiation for her is gone. Yeah,
certainly she can escape the scary ganks. You see them, like, you know, they've been rushing for Nautilus and Maokai so far. And when you try to Maokai W, when you try to do that against Ahri, she just kind of hops around and suddenly you're inside of her turret and then charmed and then taking true damage. So, okay, I understand not wanting to pick Maokai with Ahri still available. Right. And the one thing about Ahri is she's a safe laner. She's one of these laners like Shen, a little bit like Aurelia, where you can pick them and just feel safe. You know, we saw Graves a whole lot of Anaheim, the same kind of situation. You pick this champion, and you don't have any garbage matchups. You'll do pretty well, you know, 40 to 60% in any matchup. It's going to be fine. Not a big worry, and they want to actually shut down these mages, right? They want to say, you don't get to last pick Ahri or even first pick an Ahri and know that you're not getting countered. They want to try to force them into these scary champions like Karthus, like Anivia, where, you know, as we saw with Curse versus Fnatic, Anivia got jumped on by Maokai, and Anivia, not Ahri, couldn't really get away from that one, just kind of got locked up. And Karthus could wall and lay waves, and she dropped down. And yeah, you know, when you're leaving in these really gank-oriented junglers like Nautilus and Maokai, you know, yeah, you want to deny the escape-oriented champions so they can't escape from your ganks, but at the same time, if you're picking unsafe champions like we saw with the Warwick for Millennium or like we saw with P.E.K.K.A.'s Anivia, you get shut down a little bit.
Yeah, Warwick in lane is really scary. Obviously, in the jungle, you're not going to see him too long, but you know to shut him down before 6. He's an easy target to be able to say, hey, we're really not worried about him for the first 6 levels. That's about 7-8 minutes in 5-6 minutes into the game. So for that time, their jungler pretty much has free roam to say, I want to go top, and we're just going to pressure this Warwick out. Whether we can get him to just flash, get that kill, or just deny him experience, that's going to be huge, because if he's only going to be able to suppress later, that's about 3 seconds of just like, hey, you know, I'm just going to do this. My last swipe isn't going to do too much.
P.E.K.K.A. making an appearance right there. How you doing? Hey, P.E.K.K.A., come back, man. We wanted to talk to you.
I think we have Fnatic next, right?
Yeah, no, they have one more break.
Oh.
We're going to have PAH play again. They're going to be against Curse. P.E.K.K.A., how you doing?
Spaniard.
Really good here. Showing my apps to the camera because I know they love them.
say hi to your fans.
Hi.
Who do you have at home to say hi to?
My family, my friends, Claire, And that bald guy over there.
Hey, Leo, how you doing? All right, well, awesome. Of course, we have more games coming up. We're actually going to get up the next game. I think it's PAH versus Curse. Do you have any, Pekka, do you have any predictions for that match?
I don't know. I hope Curse gets crossed though.
Fair enough. Hopes Curse gets crushed. So we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching, guys. Riv and I are going to be back in the casting booth, actually casting that next game. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.